being ignored in the classroom. So we're really making sure that there's connection between all those kids, because hopefully at some point this year they will be meeting in person.
Yeah.
And that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be really, really lovely. So have there been any kids that were trying, and I know that the aerial equipment is probably not very high, but are there any children that are afraid of heights and
That's funny. We just had this conversation today. I was showing a video of Nick Melinda back in, I can't remember when it was, but he walked over Main Street, over 41.
Oh, yeah.
That was Sarasota.
Yeah.
And he had attached cameras onto his pole that he was walking with, so you could see what it looked like for him looking down.
Yeah.
And that was, what do you think, 70 feet, 100 feet up?
It was, I don't know.
It was high.
It was high.
It was high up there. And so when they show it, I mean, we look like ants on the ground. And the kids, it's just a great image for the kids to see. This is what it looks like when you're that high up. And then afterwards we had a whole discussion on, okay, which ones of you are those people who play up in the air and not. And pretty much there were 2 kids that said no.
Yeah.
No, not a chance.
Yeah.
Several kids said, well, the right safety equipment, yes.
Right.
And the rest were like, oh, yeah, I'm going for it. When are we going to do it?
So are those kids going to get to come to the arena and maybe try the trapeze at some point? Is that part of the plan?
Yes. I'm not sure about the trapeze. The flying trapeze itself, that would be a school board question. Oh. It's a little high. We're going to be starting a lot lower to begin with.
Okay.
These kids are kids that have not had experience on circus equipment before we got there.
Right.
So we're going to be starting low.
Okay. Put off the ground.
Right, yes. But we are hoping that probably in the new year we will be bringing them to the campus and having them actually on the equipment.
So even the globes, to try the globes, those are a good 2 to 3 feet off the ground, and you need a lot of balance for those.
Yes, you do.
So is that one of the things you're going to be working out with the kids?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. And the globe, those of you who don't know, is like a big cement ball that's about 2 feet high, and you jump on it and stand on it and walk and turn and spin and
and it's super heavy.
Yeah, it is.
They don't look heavy when you see them in the arena, but when you try to move one, it's shocking how heavy they are.
But that's science in action right there, because the more massive the ball is, the less it wants to move.
Oh.
Therefore, so if you ever try balancing on a yoga ball, you're going to be flipped off right away, because it's so light, it wants to move.
Right.
Whereas the cement balls will stay a little bit better.
So I broke my arm trying to do one of these circus trips when I was a kid, actually. We watched the circus on TV, and the elephants were walking on a ball, and I'm like, I can do that. Well, I couldn't. So I totally get the whole math thing now, because I wound up in the hospital trying to walk a globe. Won't be doing that again.
No, that's good. Well, at least you learned from your...
Oh, my gosh. So learned. It hurt. But what are some of the other successes you've seen?
Oh, let's see. Certainly jugglers. We've got some great jugglers. We have one little young lady who knows us from... Actually, a lot of them know us from other school programs that we're doing.
Okay.
One little young lady knows us from Alta Vista, and she had been in the Alta Vista Circus, which was a third grade program that we did where we taught each school classroom a certain act.
Right.
And the act that she was in was juggling.
Oh.
And in third grade, you can't really have great success throwing juggling balls up in the air and catching them properly. So we teach them table juggling, so they're just doing it on the floor as opposed to in the air.
Right.
And she remembered that, this is now 3 years later, started juggling on the floor, and then picked it up and started juggling in the air immediately.
Wow.
Just immediately. She was just... and the day that she did that, she was remote.
Oh.
So she found 3 bags and stuffed some... They're very creative, these kids. So she took 3 bags and put some sand or dirt in them because she knew they had to be heavier.
Right.
And then that's what she used to juggle. And
that's kind of amazing. And what a great boost of self-confidence for her.
Yeah.
That she was just able to, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That's fabulous. So moving on to the high school program, we can talk about that for a few minutes.
Sure.
I know we've talked about it before, but are there any, I can't remember if there's new students into the program from last year?
There are. So we have a level 1 and a level 2 now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Whereas last year was just level 1.
Right.
So level 2 is in the afternoons, and they are continuing training from last year.
Okay.
And the level 1 students are all students that have not, for the most part, been on equipment before. So they're starting from scratch.
Right.
Although a lot of them have gymnastics and cheerleader training, so they're starting at a little higher level as far as acro.
Right.
And there are 7 kids. And we have 1 remote learner there as well.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
that's got to be tough. So the 2 different levels, they're not together at all. They're totally separate?
They're totally separate. So one is 2 classrooms in the morning, and the older group, or the second year group, is 2 classes in the afternoon.
And I think that some of the kids from last year, they didn't decide to do the program this year.
Right. Several of them, because of they're now seniors, had classes that they had to catch up on, or just to get out of school. We got to take these classes. So they had to make the choice.
I understand
one or the
that.
other.
So you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
So the remote are there any kids in the section 2 that are remote, or just in the first section?
Just in the first section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
for the moment, but that can change, because if someone gets sick or they're quarantined, which we now have some kids in the first class that have been quarantined.
Oh.
And so we have more remote kids right now. We have 3 remote kids. And
are they handled similar to the way the middle school is, like tape a line and so real similar?
Yeah.
Well, that's good that you can the programs.
They can so they can follow the warm up. So everybody does the warm up together.
Yeah.
And we just make things happen for the kids that are online.
Yeah. But then there's also the same as the middle school. They're probably learning circus and business techniques as well. Is that
correct? They are. The circus program in the high school level is an ACE program, which is a Cambridge program. So we are. It's not just circus and physical education. We're adding life skills into it as well. So they will be creating a portfolio in the 3rd semester.
Oh, wow.
So just like if they were going to be going out in the world and becoming circus performers, they'll be having a video and photographs and
that's great.
Here's what we do. Right now they're working on what kind of job you could see yourself doing in the circus.
Yeah.
Because most of these kids aren't going to go on to be in the circus.
Right.
But there's a lot of opportunities for kids that have an interest in accounting, but want to travel. So, hey, you can go on the circus and be an accountant and work in Singapore and anywhere you want, as well as physical therapy. A lot of our kids tend to go towards physical therapy or some sort of healing practice because of sports education, because of this education.
Right.
So
that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that before.
Yeah. We have a young lady that graduated last year. Gosh, was it just last year? Yeah. Who is going to college as an engineering student.
Right.
And what her specialty is going to be is creating circus equipment for the circus.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't really, I'm sure there's no class taught in that, so she's going to have to basically make her own kind of hybrid at some point as to what she's learning and how to transition that, to circus equipment.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And theater, I think probably theater, there's got to be some sort of engineering in the theater program out there, and I'm sure that's the direction she would head.
Really interesting. So do you have any success stories from the high school program you could share?
Oh, let's see. I love these kids so much. The first year the first year group has really become a cohesive group of kids.
Yeah.
They're now meeting after school together. And
that's great.
Yeah, yeah. So they've just all become best friends, and there's not like pods of friends. It's just they're all together and doing it. And Miguel Vargas, as Rikki mentioned earlier, is our head coach. And he's just been teaching them some fabulous new techniques and working on, like I said, equipment. They just created a piece for our video for the circus machine, the Marvelous Miraculous Circus Machine. And being new to the program, I think it was a big challenge for them to put together a piece that they could all show their personal skills levels to the best. And
have science involved with it.
Yeah. So we had some doing contortion because we had some kids that are really stretchy in the program.
Yeah.
We had some kids on on globes.
Yeah.
With hula hoops going. We had a jump rope routine in there as well.
That sounds great. Yeah, the Circus Science Machine is one of my favorite programs that we do here. So for those of you that like to learn more about the Circus Science Machine, there's a great video on YouTube. If you go to the Circus Arts Conservatory channel, there's a bunch of videos about the machine, but there's one in particular that really introduces it, and it gives a great understanding as to what's done here to teach children, mainly in the 5th grade, all about science, mainly in 5th grade, right?
Yes, yes.
So not just science, it's specifically in
force and motion,
relation to force and motion, and the Rube Goldberg contraption, and
cause and effect.
Yeah.
And,
all the good Newton's laws.
Right, yeah. It's just a great way to learn hands-on how mass and acceleration and gravity affect objects that are moving. And it's also, we have some 8th grade programs as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And what we're talking about now is where, because everything is going digital, we have been filming. We have a professional film crew coming in, and they've been filming the entire machine so that we can make it available for schools, not just here, so the kids can see it virtually, but anywhere.
Yeah.
So we're hoping we can really spread the circus magic.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that video. I'm so excited to see it when it's done. So unfortunately, we are out of time.
No,
sorry.
No, I want to talk to you more.
But it's been so great talking to you, and it was good having Rikki with us while she could be here.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, if anybody wants to get more information, you can go to circusarts.org to find out more about what we're doing here at the Circus Arts Conservatory. And I'd like to remind everybody to please be kind to everybody else in the world right now, because everybody needs kindness right now.
Absolutely.
So also another reminder, keep calm and circus on. And finally, I'd like to say, may all your days be circus days. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Karen.
You're welcome. Thanks.